Hello there. So just last week, or this week, I was working on an app where you were able to access a MySQL database from online. In my case, I'm using a GoDaddy database. Basically, I've hosted a website from GoDaddy and I got the MySQL database. And basically access it, and use commands with it, basically. Now, I found a really bad problem, which was I wasn't really able to get it done easily straight Swift to MySQL. So I searched a little bit and I found out that I must use a PHP bridge in between. So that Swift talks to PHP, the PHP basically takes a response from the MySQL and then gives it back to the Swift. But then after that, I realized that you cannot really do anything else with the database. Well, you can't really add things to the database. So then I tried to fix that. It took me a while, but I eventually got that done too. So I saw there's hardly any tutorials for this online, so I decided to create one for Swift. I haven't seen one for Swift yet, but let's go on. So here's the principle of the app. All we're doing is we're going to an online database called Friends in my server, and then we're going to a table called Friend, and then gathering all the friends of mine, additional information, and printing it onto a custom table view cell. So first of all, before I go into the database part, I'm going to describe a little bit on how the custom table view cell works in the receiving end. So what we're doing is we're creating a separate class in a new file. Well, I'm doing it in a new file. I'm importing UIKit, obviously. I'm going class additional info cell, and this is the subclass of a UI table view cell. And then we're creating two outlets, friend name and friend info. And then we are creating a cell here with this height, and basically later, we're making this a subclass, the custom class of additional info cell, which is exactly what this class is. And then we're putting a label and where the additional info will go, so the additional info and the name of that friend. So this is so again, sorry my screen recorder stopped. So here we are. So as I was explaining, the friend name, which is the name of the friend, is hooked up to the friend name outlet in the custom cell. And there's also friend info, which is also connected. So now all we need to basically do is hook this up into our view controller. Make sure the view controller is a subclass of UI view controller, UI table view data source, and the UI table view delegate, so it can actually communicate with the table view. So now we just need to add these few functions. IB action function reload, which is what you need to add. I'd also add this just in case somebody decides to click on this, but I guess what you could do is this text view is the editable, so you can't edit it. But still, I think the keyboard pops up, so in our view controller, we just want to do whenever they touch somewhere, it'll end all editing, meaning it'll hide the keyboard no matter what. Now also, we need to add this function, which is the data of JSON function that I created. It takes a URL as a string, and it turns an array of JSON, and that's what I'll explain later, but you need to have this in. So inside of here, var data is equal to ns data, contents of URL, NSURL string, the URL that you gave it. So basically this is getting the NS data of that URL you gave it, so the data. And then we're returning NSJSON serialization JSON object dot with data. We're giving it the data to convert to JSON, and then we're converting that JSON to an array, and then we're returning it. And we also want to add these two functions. And so what you want to do is on the top, but before you go on, you want to add, sorry, not these. You want to add these IB outlets. Again, not even these ones. Just this IB outlet and this variable. And whatever errors you had from the reload should be gone, or wherever else should be gone. Then inside of your view.did.load, you want to do data is equal to data of JSON and then whatever website you have. In my case, this is my PHP file on my web server, which I'll explain in just a moment. And then just for the sake of it, I am printing the data. Again, I'm really sorry about my screen recorder. Stopped again. So now, as I was saying, I'm just printing this because I want to see if it's giving the correct data or not, or is it just a table view. So that's basically pretty much it, and then you just want to connect the table views delegate and data source to view controller, and the table view outlet also to view controller. And then the reload action to this that we just created in here. So hook up the reload button to this. So basically your view should look like this, and everything should be hooked up. Now, let's look at the website for a second. So first of all, I have this website, tanmay.bakshi.com. I was lucky I got that. But inside of here, I'm going to go to Files, and I'm going to go to File Manager. So as you can see, it asked me what directory I want to open. I'm assuming you already have knowledge for this. If you don't, I will soon post another video which teaches you exactly how to use the website. So I'm going to go to document root 4, tanmay.bakshi.com, and go. So it's going to fetch the directory contents, and this is the PHP that returns exactly what is in the database. So if I go in here and I click code editor, and then I click edit, it should show me the exact code of my PHP script. Now this PHP script will be available for download in the description below. I'm going to give an entire zip file with all the files or the code that you may need, even maybe the source code for this and this on GitHub. So this is the code that's basically going into a database and returning the JSON object of any friend in the database. It's basically checking for the connection. It's making a new connection to MySQL using the host, the user, and the password. We're also checking if there's no connection, then die because the database server connection failed. But if there is a connection, then again, check if it can select the database by creating this variable, putting this inside of it, checking if it can actually go into that database. If it cannot, then we will go die, unable to connect to that database specifically. But if it can connect, then it's going to go select star from the table. It's going to give us a result set for the query. Using the query and the connection, we're going to make the records variable, which is an array, loop through. As always, my screen recorder will stop. So here is the fourth part. So yeah, so then we're looping through the result set that it gets from the MySQL, and then we're making the records equal to whatever it's fetching from MySQL. And then we're basically just JSON encoding the records and printing it out. Now, this is basically the PHP script, and so let me just show you my database for a minute. Okay, so this is the database, and you see it's an empty database. Let's say I were to insert one of my friends. Let's just take my dad, for example. Okay, so I entered in his name, and now I'm going to enter in some additional info. So dad, and you can keep adding more tags. So basically I'm going to click go, and then if we go into browse, you can see we have all the friends, their name, and additional info. So the entire content of the friend database. So basically now what I want to do is I want to see this and how it's actually going to my app. But if I run this right now on the if I run this right now on the simulator, it should pop up any second now. Build succeeded. Simulator should pop up. The app should run, and it should show my name, my friend's name, and dad. But let's say I were to insert my other friend's name. And I were to click go. So as you can see, I go browse, it's still there. And now I can come here and I can click reload. It'll go to the database and it'll fetch the new friend. So I'm going to click reload, and boom, it caught the new friend and put it in the table view. So now that's basically how that works. And now let's continue on and watch this. This is how it's basically getting it. As you can see, in this app, we're going data equals data of JSON, so the data is equal to this. So this is where it's the PHP script of where it's getting all its information from. And if we put this in our URL bar, watch this. Wow, so it's showing the JSON encoded info that this app is taking and converting into this, so that we can actually clearly see it. Because right now, screen recorder again. But as I was saying, a normal person would be able to understand this, but it wouldn't be the most glamorous thing to see. However, this is much more, you would want to see this much more than this. So it's taking this information, the app, and it's putting it into this. So now let's continue on, and now let's see how I was able to insert. Now what you do to insert using my URL is, I'll just show you quickly. I can close this. In my extra folder, I have and code editor, edit. So I have this file, which will also be in the description below, which connects to the friends database, does the exact same thing, but the query is equal to this. So it's inserting into the friends database, the friend table, name and additional info, the values, and then it's getting the X parameter from the URL, and it's getting the Y parameter from the URL. So the X parameter means, okay, their name, and then the Y parameter means their their basically additional info. And then it's sending out that query, and it's echoing successfully added and then the query, so that we know it's been successfully added. So let's just test this out real quick. Mom, and I can't really think of any other tag. So that's the command I'm going to send in. It's not really a command, it's a PHP script with parameters in the URL. So I'm going to click enter, and hopefully it should show insert into friends.friend name, additional info, values, my mom's name, and mom as the additional information. So yes, it's successfully taken out the values from the URL and put it onto here. So if I take my app and I reload now, it should also show the thing that we just put in. And if I even refresh the browse in the phpMyAdmin, it'll also show this. So that's basically how this works. I never do that. Anyway, now that this is over with, let's see the code of it, which I've already shown you. Okay, so now let's see the code of how you actually use the app of the inserting into database. So now this is what took me the longest time because I had no idea how to go and execute a website PHP on PHP without actually getting it returning JSON. Now, I did know, I just didn't think of anything. So eventually I thought and I thought and I thought, and I came up with this code. It's the function add friend, but first I'll explain the GUI behind it. Basically, there are, really hope this doesn't crash. Okay, so basically there is a labeled name, so you enter your name, the name of that friend, the info of that friend here, and the add to database button, which basically executes the add friend. So basically, there's the friend name, friend info, the UI text fields, and so the function is doing this. So we're making the URL, which is an NS string, which is the URL to the PHP script I made. Then we're giving the parameters x is equal to, and then the friend names text, and the y is equal to the friend info's text. Now there's a really big problem that was one of the most challenging parts. If they enter a space, it's going to stop at that line. So, or even an enter. So I had to do URL is equal to URL dot string by replacing occurrences of string. So we're basically replacing all the spaces in here with %20 so that the user doesn't need to do it. And I really didn't find a way to do the enters, so I came up with this solution. If the user ever wants to put an enter, so a new line, they can put /n and it'll count that as a new line for them. And it's basically in the code changing it to %0a. And then I'm just printing the URL to see whether it's the correct URL or not, just in case I need to troubleshoot something. Then we're getting the data of that URL, making the result a string, and I'm just printing the result since that's the only way you can access that website. So now that that's done, I'll show you a quick demo. Sorry, that's a really bad Xcode glitch. I'm not responsible for that. Whenever you try to click the play button, it'll actually somehow go up here and click. Yeah, so as I was saying, it'll automatically, for some reason, click the exit button except for the debug button. But anyway, it's okay for now. I'll run this on the simulator using Command R. And on the simulator, we should get the app running in just a minute. So just wait for it to load. Okay, it says that the simulator is in use, so I'll have to stop this. Yeah, see, then the stop button, whatever. It's okay for now. So, stop. Okay, good. So now I can run this. and it'll run this successfully. And okay, let me go into my database, and you can see there's nothing like this. And so I'm just gonna put some information here, and yeah. So I'm gonna put in the name of my friend. Let's say I put in and then for info, I guess I'll put in friend. So as you can see, I've put in all the info. I'm still gonna go here and you see nothing. Well, you shouldn't see anything. But in the iOS simulator, if I click add and I wait a few seconds while it does something and I go back here, it added Gershon. So here I'm going to quit the add to database app, and I'm going to run this one. And then you can see it's going to the database and getting every single database entry and formatting it in a good way so that the user can see it. So this was just a demo application. Now it's up to you to actually modify it, create things out of it. So, goodbye. I guess that's it. If you have any questions, please comment, like the video, subscribe to my channel if you'd like, and goodbye. See you later.